There's one particular person who will remain nameless, and I will not deny it. I think he's a fat, no-good bastard who I despise to the core.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Without further ado, let's go straight to the video. So Stephen A. Smith went off at someone during his show addressing the Marcellus Wiley controversy, and it wasn't difficult to figure out who he was referring to. So Stephen A. Smith was heavily criticized by Marcellus Wiley recently for his hypocrisy after getting Max Kellerman kicked off ESPN First Take, when he was one of the first, people complaining about Shannon Sharpe's exit from FS1. Stephen A. Smith attempted to address the Marcellus Wiley's criticism, but it seemed as though he was more responding to someone else who he refused to name, except that we all know who the person is, and it's Jason Whitlock. Jason Whitlock worked at ESPN from 2002 to 2006, mostly as a page 2 columnist, and from 2013 to 15, where he was initially supposed to be the editor for what became The Undefeated. After that, he went back to Fox Sports and co-hosted what was then Speak for Yourself from 2016 to 2020. Then he left for Outkick in January 2021, and then in June 2021 he joined Blaze Media, where he now has a regular guest including Brett Favre. In case you missed it, here's what Stephen A. Smith had to say about Jason Whitlock.
Now, there's a lot of people out there that want me to address other names. There's one particular person who will remain nameless, and I will not deny it. I think he's a fat, no-good bastard who I despise to the core. That is not Marcellus Wiley I'm talking about. It ain't hard to figure out who the hell I'm talking about. I'm where I'm at. That particular individual is where he's at. And I'll leave it at that. And no, I'm not talking about Marcellus Wiley again. No, I'm not talking about my former colleague on First Take. No, I'm not talking about them. They ain't fat bastards who are seeds of the devil, wishing nothing but black folks home. But I'll leave that for another day, for when the time is right.
Jason Whitlock finally got the attention he wanted, so here's his response to Stephen A. Smith.
Not offended or upset that Stephen A. Smith called me fat bastard, or that Stephen A. Smith is expressing this kind of animus towards me. I'm disappointed, wish that he didn't have that level of animus, because I certainly don't have it towards him. He then goes on to say, I don't want to harm anybody, and this is all as he's talking about me. He doesn't want to harm anybody, but then he starts taking shots at me. I'm up here, and he's down here. And then the real shot he's taking is, and Jason, or fat bastard, me, he's built his entire career on maligning and smearing black people. This is the same type of, or obviously not as bad, but it's the same type of cowardice Stephen A. Smith is showing here. He doesn't want to take on Marcellus Wiley because he can't be honest. He can't say what really happened between he and Max Kellerman. So he says, let me hide behind Whitlock, let me distract, and let me point all the animus at Jason Whitlock. I don't like him anyway. I know that Twitter and social media people love to attack him. And hey guys, I know y'all calling me an Uncle Tom, but here's the real Uncle Tom.
So where do I start? So it's been a long time since Jason Whitlock has been at ESPN, and he never worked particularly closely with Stephen A. Smith, but he's definitely had plenty of negative things to say about Stephen A. over the years. And it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting that Stephen A. Smith didn't bite any words, and he dropped enough clues to make it obvious that he's talking about Jason Whitlock. With Stephen A. Smith, you guys already know how I feel about him. I was very critical about Stephen A. with how he treated Max Kellerman at ESPN First Take. But with Jason Whitlock, he's someone who I will never take any of his opinions seriously. You know, he's someone who has no credibility whatsoever, and I will explain why. So with Jason Whitlock, I have made the observation that he only tends to be critical of a certain demographic of people. I'm not making it racial, I'm just making an observation. Jason Whitlock in the past was very critical of how LeVar Ball raised his 3 sons, which prompted LeVar in being invited to the show, giving us one of the most viral clips of all time.
It seems like he's just daddy's little boy, a little robot who's completely controlled by his father.
Like I said, and going back to Whitlock, I don't think he can comment on anything but snacks.
And even more recently, he's been even more critical of Deion Sanders, you know, basically questioning his Christianity, questioning his faith, and, you know, just waffling about a bunch of nonsense. But Jason Whitlock has no problem inviting someone like Brett Favre on his show, who is known for his welfare scandal, you know, for literally stealing money from poor communities. Again, I'm not making it racial, I'm just making an observation. You do what you want with that information. Anyways, guys, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this whole situation. Sorry I've been gone for almost 2 weeks now. I've been sick, and we're back now. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.